Mr. Robot, can you fold my clothes and maybe vacuum under the bed? Thanks.
Oh, man. Oh, if only that robot could really actually do my chores. Guess it's up to me for now until we get robots to do all of our chores for us. We're still waiting for chore robots to be invented. Until then, it'll be up to us to do those types of tasks. But that's okay, because I am here today to help you master some of the essential cleaning tasks so they don't seem like such a tedious chore. Having a clean living space can be important. Why do you think it's important to keep your living space clean? Pause the video here to record your thoughts. Having a clean living space can help in reducing stress and improving concentration and productivity. Plus, it's important for our physical health to keep any allergens, germs, dust, and grime minimized. Take a look at this space. Where would you begin if you needed to clean this room? Just like this girl is doing, we first need to clear the clutter. Decluttering makes cleaning any space easier and more efficient. One strategy for decluttering before cleaning is to start by grabbing a basket and doing a quick scan of the room. Toss anything into the basket that's out of place. Whoa! Then take those items back to where they belong. Once you've finished decluttering, the cleaning can begin. Basic cleaning includes dusting, vacuuming and sweeping, mopping, and bathroom cleaning. Have you done any of these tasks before? Did you find them challenging, and if so, why? Pause the video and record your thoughts. Hopefully, if you recorded a challenge you've encountered, some of the tips in this video will help. For example, I used to dread dusting because I always felt like I was just kicking more dust up into the air and moving the dust around until I learned a little trick. In order to collect the most particles, dusting should be done with a microfiber cloth, if you have one. If not, you might choose to use a cotton cloth or another dusting tool available in your home. It could become frustrating to dust one thing, then dust something higher and knock a bunch of dust onto an area you already finished. This is why when dusting, we should start from the top with things like shelves and light fixtures, so any dust falls down where you haven't cleaned yet. In general, it's a good idea to dust once per week on the day that's most convenient, but the frequency can vary based on factors such as pets, allergies, and amount of foot traffic. If you start from the top and work your way down, eventually you'll get to the floors, which can involve vacuuming and sweeping. Vacuuming and sweeping can help to clean debris off the floors. Do you know what tools you have available for vacuuming and sweeping the floors? Pause the video so you can go check out where the cleaning tools are stored in your living space. Try to figure out what you have available that can be used for vacuuming and sweeping. Maybe you have a vacuum like one of these. Vacuuming is ideal for carpets and rugs, but can be done on hard floors such as wood or tile too. Just make sure to follow your vacuum settings for different surfaces to get optimum particle pickup and avoid damaging any hard floors. It's also an option to sweep hard floors rather than using a vacuum. The tools used to clean debris from hard floors can come in many forms, and what you use is ultimately up to you and your trusted adult. For best results, when vacuuming or sweeping, move furniture out of the way to reach sneaky places where dust can collect, and work your way from the back of the room to the door. It's generally a good idea to vacuum and sweep once per week, but this is only a rule of thumb because the frequency will depend on your household's individual needs and preferences. Once the floors are free from crumbs and other debris, what else do you think we can do, specifically to hard floors, to ensure they're clean? Yes, they can be mopped. For hard surfaces, mopping can be the ultimate way to achieve cleanliness. Mopping will help to get rid of any stuck-on grime, spills, and dirt. What tools do you have available that can be used for mopping? Pause the video and go check if you're not sure. You may have a mop and bucket and a cleaning solution to mix with water, or maybe you have an alternative tool like some of these. No matter what tools and cleaners are used, in order to mop quickly and effectively, start far away from the entrance and work your way to the entrance by mopping in small sections. This will ensure you don't step on any newly mopped areas and can leave the room while it finishes drying. Also, be sure to rinse out the mop regularly so dirty water isn't being spread around more. Floors might not need to be mopped every time they are vacuumed or swept, but would typically benefit from a mopping every 2 weeks, with the exception of the bathroom floors, which may need a little more attention. Let me explain. Cleaning the bathroom may seem like a big task, but let's break it down. Start by spraying the shower and tub with your chosen cleaner and leave it to sit so it has time to loosen any grime and kill germs. Then wipe bathroom mirrors with an appropriate glass cleaner. Countertops, sinks, faucet handles, and the drain should be sprayed with an appropriate surface cleaner and wiped clean. Then head back over to the shower and tub and give it a good scrub and rinse. And don't forget about the toilet. The toilet bowl should be cleaned using an appropriate toilet bowl cleaner and toilet brush. Also, the toilet's outer surfaces and handles should be wiped and sanitized. Then, leaving the floor for last, finish up by sweeping and mopping, and voila, a sparklingly clean bathroom. This recommended order isn't how you have to clean a bathroom, but having a solid plan like this can make it much easier to get a big task like this done. It's also recommended that the bathroom be cleaned weekly, but like everything else, this will vary from household to household. The types of cleaners and tools you use for any of these tasks is up to you and your trusted adult, so be sure to discuss your options with them. If you're cleaning with chemical products, read and follow the directions on the label. And if this means wearing gloves, be sure to suit up like a cleaning superhero. If your trusted adult prefers chemical-free or more natural options, there can be ways to use common items you might already have in your kitchen, such as baking soda, lemon, vinegar, and even dish soap. Many times, homemade cleaners can even be less expensive than store-bought cleaners and leave your home smelling lemony fresh. Whatever you use, talk to your trusted adult first to make sure you're using products safely. Now that we've learned about the basics of keeping a living space clean, I have one more cleanliness tip to share with you. This tip has to do with keeping pesky germs from spreading from one person to another. Think about your living space. What surfaces and items in your home do you think get touched the most often? Give yourself a moment to think about this question and jot down your thoughts. You may have said something like the door handles, faucet handles, appliances like the microwave and fridge, or even certain tables or countertops. Even cell phones and laptops can carry lots of germs on them. Regularly sanitizing these surfaces and items can help stop viruses and bacteria from spreading from person to person. Before doing this yourself, be sure to ask your trusted adult what tools they suggest using to sanitize these types of surfaces. Keeping up with cleaning tasks can help to ensure your living space is well maintained and that allergens, germs, dust, and grime stay far, far away. But even more than that, you'll have a space where you can feel relaxed and ready to take on anything. Be sure to complete this lesson's agenda to continue learning about maintaining a clean living space. And remember, as we travel back, we learn forward. Every past lesson builds a brighter future. See you next time. Hey, hey.